and gentlemen, boys and girls, hey, I said welcome back to a very special episode. This is welcome back to the Queen Qonging with the Queen Qong, but definitely that's not me. The Queen Qong is just right here next to me. However, I know most of you probably are not familiar with my face, but my name is Swahito. I go by Swahito as well, which is my Instagram handle. I do many things. I do ministry, first of all. I share the gospel with young people and anyone else who comes to my space. At the same time, I host a show, and I am almost joining this amazing lady to do an episode of my own for a podcast. But before all of that and after all of this, I just want to introduce this lady. And first of all, I am so proud of you, for doing this. You're a force. You're a powerhouse. Yes, guys, she's a powerhouse in her own self. She is talented. You are a storyteller. When you're in the room, no one can stop laughing and just smiling. And of course, with your beautiful smile, this is a very special episode because it's going to air after our beautiful Queen Qong turns 29. The big 29 number, almost entering your 30s. Where? And yeah, karibu sana. Now this is me on your hot seat.
Thank you for gracefully invading my podcast.
Wow. Had to be the invading part. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me in my own podcast.
Thanks for allowing me to do this. I'm honored.
Yeah, anytime, girl.
Yeah.
Do
you want to say hi to your people?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Queen Qonging with the Queen Qong as the guest this time, having been invaded. You can even see I've changed my
kuna venye relax.
Some type of way.
You're fine.
I'm anxious.
Yeah,
I'm nervous.
It's good to be anxious.
What's going on?
Yeah, good things are happening. But then your dress looks beautiful.
Thank you. It's a Vivo.
It's a Vivo.
Yeah.
Thanks. And your hair is also popping.
It's a Cooper.
Yeah. And your makeup.
It's a Mombi.
Ooh, I love your answers. So I am actually very excited to be doing this with you.
Okay. For
you and for your audience. And I just want us to get to it, yeah? But I want us to play a game before we start because we have to release those stresses. Guys, we're a bit anxious, but the behind the scenes team is doing a great job. The camera behind, we love you guys. Let's do this game, just one game to let everything just pace in.
Okay.
So give me 2 truths and 1 lie, and I can get to guess which is the truth, which is the lie.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope I get this one.
I hope you like this one.
I hope you
get this one. I like watching snakes. That's a tough one to start with.
Reptiles had to be in this conversation.
Snakes, not snakes. I enjoy watching snakes. I really love omena.
Okay.
And I've been to Mauritius.
Wow, so I need to guess
which one
the
is
lie.
The lie?
Which one is the lie?
Don't even know which one is the lie. Okay,
yeah. So first of all, I believe you are a traveler.
Okay.
So I feel like you have been to Mauritius.
Yes.
That's the truth, yeah?
I don't know.
But are you supposed to help me get it right?
See, you're supposed to say
okay,
them
I think
all
the lie,
first.
lie is. Hey, but do you like matumbo? If you like people who like omena, probably like matumbo or something.
In fact, let's just even put them together. Omena and matumbo, I love them.
So the lie is the fact that you don't like watching snakes?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm telling you the lie.
Oh, so you're saying that's definitely
the first one is the lie.
Okay. So you feel like you've gotten it right? Do you think you've gotten it right?
Yeah, I don't want to change my answer. The minute anyone ever asks you, are you sure? Or do you think you've gotten it? I'll stick with my answer.
Unfortunately, I forgot to give the lie. So all of them are truths.
What? You enjoy
snake videos, yes. And I enjoy matumbo and all of them. All of them are truths. My Instagram algorithm is full of snake videos.
Why though?
I don't know. There's a time I was trying to understand the number of colors of snakes that you can actually get. So there are people who breed snakes to get specific colors, and I really enjoy that. I think snakes are beautiful.
I mean, they were created by God. scared. Though I am scared of crocodiles more than snakes, imagine.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, I didn't know that. But thank God now we know all your truth. Snakes, I am staying away from you. But let me tell you, people actually say that kukiwa na paka, akuwezi kuwa na nyoka. People say cats and snakes are not friends.
They're not.
Yeah. So if you don't have a cat around your place, I'm not coming to visit you. Then let's get to it. I love the fact that at least we've gotten to know your truths. Watu wenye wanamjua, tafadhali mnunulie matumbo na omena na pork pia, napenda pork. So let's talk about Queen Qonging because first of all, that name. What's the story behind having that name for your podcast?
Okay.
Yeah.
I started the podcast in 2020 March when COVID struck. And it was at a time where I had felt like before even COVID, I felt like I'd really gone through a lot of adversity, but I had really become a champion. Like I was really feeling myself, quite frankly, at that point in time.
Yeah.
When I was starting this podcast. And I remember thinking, like when you're thumping your chest, every time I thump my chest, because I'm very...
You know who like...
I'm very crush. Yes, I'm such... I live very animatedly.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what is that? That's King Kong. Like every time you thump your chest, you're just thinking King Kong.
Yeah.
But like I'm not King Kong.
Yeah.
So what am I?
Queen Qong.
I'm Queen Kong. Yeah. So it's just a name, and I just twisted the K to be Q, so that's like a Q squared.
Yeah.
That came from like just my other creative friends. I don't even remember who exactly came up with it, but I remember it's not me. The Q, it was not me, that was someone else.
Yes.
So that's how Queen Qong came about, just from feeling like I've overcome such adversity. And it doesn't make me any less a baby girl. What Jesus. So, but then, like I have conquered. So Queen Qong just pretty much, I felt like it summed up what I was feeling and who I thought I was at that time.
Okay. So now running through all the episodes, which is your favorite episode of the podcast that you're like, hey, this one was a time in my life where I'm like, hey, yeah, I really Queen Qonged in this one.
I think I really love the series I did in January, Queen Qong Trots. I genuinely enjoy that. I listen to it a lot.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Nice.
I really love that series. But also, there's an episode among my very first episode.
Yeah.
Which sort of built up to this becoming Queen Qonging.
Oosh.
I talk about one of my very interesting journeys where I was a stout.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should just listen to that because it's one of the most raw episodes I ever did.
Yes.
And I was literally just bumming in my house and recorded that and just put it out as it was. I really, really love that episode because it pretty much carries the heart of what Queen Qonging is.
Yeah. I love that episode too, and the cute guy who everyone thought that was your brother.
Yes.
But then there was still the cute guy. Guys, you need to listen to that episode.
It has so many characters.
Hey! But girl, shout out to you for even deciding to become a makanga. Me, I did it as a dare. And it was a dare, and I couldn't hack. Me, I was laughing the whole time. Because
really?
I'm not doing this. I can't. And what would you say then motivates you to continue?
Why do I keep doing Queen Qonging?
Yeah.
So
now that it's almost 3 years?
It's past 3 years. It turned 3 in March of 2023.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's a very nice outlet for me.
Okay.
Just to share my thoughts, share the place that I'm at.
Yeah.
And I just want to create that space not just for myself but for other people.
Yeah.
The truth is that I've really struggled with the purpose and the why I do Queen Qonging a lot. And I think every year I come up with a new strategy on how to do it differently and better. This is strategy for beginning of... Even this video is, strategy for the beginning of yet another year. And I just hope that at some point me and my guests and my listeners, we really get to figure it out. But for now, I think I'm just creating a space for myself and other people to express themselves. And I keep saying that it's not just for me as a great African leader, but for other many future African leaders who I brush shoulders with every day. Like yourself, Swahito. Like yourself.
Well, today is about you, Queen. After this, I'll wear my own Queen
Crown, eh?
That's actually, I was gonna tell you when you talked about purpose. I don't think we immediately know that this is purpose and then we go for it. Like you keep discovering, and I
Yes.
feel like for you, I would just tell you that keep doing what you're doing, because me, I'm loving it. Me, I'm like, hey, now let's hear another story. Like I'm like, it feels like a mini, not udaku, but like a mini udaku of someone's life. You're like, atio msa alifanya, and keep doing it, because as you're saying, like for me, it's the fact that you're out there in the effort. Do you know how many times imposter syndrome is hitting some of us? And
That's
maybe it
true.
is where you're doing it, but you're still doing it.
Yeah.
And you will. I feel like you're still living in the purpose, because you're finding an outlet to share about your life and what you've experienced and what God has allowed you to experience. And that is by far like purpose for me, and I'm just here to tell you that, girl, you're killing it on that front in terms of
Ooh,
purpose.
thank.
Me, I'm excited because these are the video podcasts that you're doing, and
Yeah.
just the fact that your podcast keeps evolving. From one time we're in the audio, then now we're doing video.
Imagine.
Then maybe the next series will be about love. Everyone likes love, and
I did a love series in February this year, but I'm hoping to do an even better one.
Yeah.
In the future, yeah.
I'm excited. Everyone likes love.
Everyone likes love.
Yeah. Do you have a lover?
I don't
in
like
your
how
life?
this story is going right. So this was not.
Is there a prospect?
You
Like,
did-
is there like a love?
Do you have someone to
Someone?
share?
Yeah.
Can't
Do you have,
say.
do you have someone do you have a romantic partner?
Is this a genuine
You-
question? Or are
yeah.
you joking?
No. We want to know, right? We all want to know. Like, is there someone?
Yeah. So
Is there a King Kong?
currently Jesus is
Okay.
like just holding down on that front.
Okay.
Heavy. I'm tired of that story, by the way, but right now Jesus is just holding down on
It's
that
holding.
front. Heavy.
I love it. Don't chase it. It's gonna come to you.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you've spoken about Jesus and him being, your first love, because that's how we're told, like, and just talking about that space of love, but also your life. I have another question, and is there any story or rumor you've heard about yourself? Your podcast is about storytelling. Wewe umetuambia stories za watu na maisha yako penye. But have you ever had a rumor or a story about yourself and you're like, what? Like, why would guys think that?
So first of all, I think I've had quite a number.
Ooh.
But I think the one that really shocked me
Yeah.
is when in my former workplace I was being accused of, there was a rumor going around that I was sleeping with one of my bosses. This one's for saving it. Like
Like, I took
Like,
a deep
why?
breath, because
Like,
I'm just like,
why?
those rumors don't stop.
They don't. And then like the people who are throwing it around
Yeah.
believed in it so much. Like I sat them down and I was like, guys, able tell me this story vizuri, because even me, I'm now interested. But yeah, that's one of the most hilarious one I've ever heard about myself.
Oh my god, guys, now I udaku yake. I'm giving you guys some juice. Oh my god.
Send that to this podcast. What's up?
What? Okay. Wow, that was such an experience. So what did you do? Like, eventually, like,
I met with the wife. Yeah.
I like
I met with the
continue.
wife. I'm a child of God, by the way.
I love it.
You won't run around telling such stories about me. I'm not sleeping with your husband. What do you mean?
So you actually went to the wife?
Yeah, I called her for coffee. We sat
Because
down.
the news got to her as well.
She was the one even who's now like telling
She's
people.
the main
now, yeah, she's even saying that how
character?
she's been fasting about me. So I went to meet with her so that I can understand what it is about me that makes her think that.
First of all, it's the guts for you to even call the
But
wife.
you
You know me,
know-
I only saw those things. I see those things in the movies. Then it's always the wife who's calling the assumed babe. Like, Ebu, we need to stay away from my
my
man. And then they take their bag and they walk out.
I
They
hate
leave you there.
Why are you always in a movie?
My life
How
is-
are
my
you
life is
always
a
in
movie.
a movie? breathe, child. Breathe, child.
Girl, I'm experiencing a movie from you. Now the movie has left the screen and now it's on you.
Yeah,
So you called her.
I called her, I asked her for coffee, and I asked her what made her think that I'm sleeping with her husband.
Uh-huh.
And she explained like the instances.
Yeah.
And I explained them to her. I was like, why would that make you think that?
Yeah.
So when we had that conversation, I was very confident because I was 100% sure.
That you've not
I
done
don't
that.
even look at that nigga like that. Like, what's up?
Like,
So when
for sure
we-
your spirit didn't leave and then your body decided to go
Yeah.
into this guy. Eh?
I was
But-
like, no. So when we had that conversation with her, she was like, oh, now I'm convinced. Yeah, it's not happening. I'm sorry.
So now what happens to the guy in point, like your boss? Like, what? Like, did he like?
Let's not talk about
Let's not talk
other
about-
people. Let's talk about ourselves.
But okay.
Yeah.
But guys, I'm sorry, but that's how the story ends. Make sure you come back for part 2.
I'll ask for permission to tell that story. Maybe we can even bring him on Queen Qonging.
Oh yeah. But first, we need to bring the King Kong when he's found.
Yes.
When he's found.
Yes.
So you are about to turn 29. You've actually turned 29.
Yeah, as of
today. Yeah, you
I
have.
turned yesterday.
Yeah, you turned 29 yesterday.
Yes,
You did.
I
Yeah.
did.
You're in your last 20s.
Yes.
How does that feel? Like, what's a memorable experience that you can give us about the 20s? You know, some of us are still in our 20s. And
Memorable experience in my 20s?
yes.
I think one.
1, 2, but 1 could suffice.
I think one that comes to mind very fast is my first time outside the country.
Yes. Tell us about that.
I was very young. I was 23. I was 23 and I was very broke. Let's just
But
be
you
very
left
clear.
the country.
And
Girl, do those things even. You're 20. You're 23.
I've done that twice. Let me tell you. I
You're
do
broke.
not advise, but I've done it
But you've
twice.
left the country.
Yes.
Please give us tips on how we, who don't have the money, can still leave the country.
I wouldn't advise, especially if you're a baby girl.
Yeah, you know what?
Do not recommend. Do not recommend. So I was in a leadership program, and they used to organize
Nice.
Africa experience trips for students to go and just to expand your mind and have you witness
Love
other
it.
cultures and how business is done and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so we went on a road trip, 72 hours on the road to Zambia. Bro,
Yes, to Zambia.
me, that's when now the Lord was teaching me how much of a baby girl I am.
Wewe unasema wewe na barabara unless ni Basha. Like, please do not
Please,
take me
these things do
more
not-
than.
I am not the one. But anyway, the reason as to why that's a very sound experience in my life is
Yeah.
because of the exposure it gave me. And it just expanded my mind to the limitless opportunities that are out there. And I discovered that I could be anything. I could go anywhere. I could... Like, I was just not limited anymore when I
The
came
sky is
back.
not the
Like,
limit, as
I
people
was like,
say.
Kenny, we can do all these things. And then now you go and then you discover how ahead your country is.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to
Hey,
Tanzania,
yeah.
then you go... The route was through Tanzania, then
you go to
Zambia.
Burundi? Or-
No, through Tanzania, then
now
Zambia.
Zambia.
There's a border. And it's very interesting how, like, I just appreciated my country, appreciated just the exposure, and
Yeah.
appreciated money.
Let me tell you guys, Zambia, Zimbabwe, you know that thing they say about wheelbarrow 1 million?
Yeah, that's in
The
Z,
currency
yeah.
is-
So
is
that's
crazy.
one of my most memorable experiences in my 20s because it really formed who I was.
Yeah.
Just the experience of that leadership program I was in leading up to that point.
Yeah.
Just really worked for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's traveling. So I did get you're a traveler for sure. But you also mentioned that you've been to Mauritius.
I have.
How was that? Was that also like in line with the brokenness? You know,
No.
so I can start saying, I'm going to Ghana, guys, but I'm broke.
Don't go to Mauritius broke, babe.
Yeah, you can't. I hear that it's
That's
very
your destination and
high.
all. But yeah, like, so I think in my 20s I've had the privilege to visit a few African countries
and more to come.
and more to come. I'm keen on Africa. I really love Africa.
Okay.
And I've been very privileged to visit a couple of African countries, which
Yeah.
have really also opened me up to endless opportunities and all the things that I can be. Yeah.
Okay. You initially, I mean, before now, you're talking about Africa, and there's this love for Africa. Where do you see yourself as the Queen Qong in this situation in the African space?
In how long?
Girl, when you're just now in 29, 30, you know, well, we're talking about your new age now, so maybe the next 5 years, where are you seeing yourself when it comes to like Africa?
My dream in
Yeah.
the long run, like, beyond the 5 years, is to be part of one of the greatest creative hubs in Africa. Just build a school for creatives, especially filmmakers. I feel like there's just such need for that.
Yeah.
Like an actual center that has all these resources,
Yeah.
both human and otherwise, for children in Africa. That is not in, like a country that is not, there are some African countries that are not very African. But in, like,
Yeah.
in,
South
in,
Africa.
in,
South Africa.
don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, just to create such but then for Queen Qonging, I just really would love to empower African women in
Yeah.
more ways than one. Yeah, and I pray that Queen Qonging creates that platform just to do that.
I wish you all the best with that, because that's where we need to be.
Yeah.
Like, I also see you like in spaces of like leadership in terms of like policy.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Is
we
this
can always
prophecy
identify ourselves,
happening?
because also I wanted to always be like I've always wanted to do
Policymaker.
policy,
Okay.
but more of like being a politician. But then I'm just like, politics is just a dirty game, and I'm just like, I want to be clean, and it's hard to be clean. But policy is where it's at,
Yeah.
and I just feel like you're headed that direction, and I can't wait to see you in those 5 and plus years in that space.
Let's go policy.
Yeah. Did you do film making, or what do you call it, cinematography? Like, is that what they call it? Like photography?
Whomst are you? Whomst are you?
I'm asking for all the guys who call it filmatography.
Filmatography? I did
Film.
not do filmatography. Never heard of it. But
Forgive me.
filmatography, wow.
It's all the guys who call it that. Don't you know what I'm
Yeah, you and your relatives. So
Shade.
so I did not do filmatography, but I did a short course in film
Okay.
years ago, and yeah, just worked in that space for quite a while.
Yeah.
But I never went to school for it.
Okay. So what did you go for school? Like, what did you go to do in school? And is it something that you're practicing at some point away from Queen Qonging? And how does that look like, if in case you are and in case you're not?
So are you asking me for my
qualifications? Ulienda shule.
Lowest level.
Usiseme kuwa podcast ati unaweza amka tu siku moja useme utakuwa podcaster.
You want lowest level or highest level?
Highest level. Hapa story ya primary tunajua lazima upite primary, like haiwezi, and if you didn't, for sure you passed by somewhere.
So I have an undergrad in BCom marketing. I'm a marketer by birth, profession.
Yeah, you can market matumbo and I can eat it
very fast.
even though I don't want to.
Yeah, I'll take you to a place. There's a place just up there.
Imagine I can't.
Promise. I'm telling you, it's not this. It's not
More.
matumbo the way you know
Matumbo ikipikwa kwa
it.
nyumba mimi siko.
Bro, it's not the way you know it.
It's a better way.
Kai, let me tell you, it's matumbo that has mokad. I promise you.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's bad,
Yeah.
just leave it on the plate.
Ah.
I promise
That's
you.
the only thing I can
I'll
do.
even pay. I'll even pay for another meal. I'll ask them to bring
another one when I don't like it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's
But
a
anyway,
date.
yeah, so I'm a marketer by birth, marketer by profession, because I did an undergrad in BCom. Then I did a master's in business administration. But then also, trained in film, taught film for a bit as well.
Nice.
Yeah, but I practice marketing. I do. For one of my side hustles,
Nice.
I do a bit of consulting on that front.
That's good. That's good. We needed to know that people don't think it's just the podcast, guys. Sources, hata Biblia inasema kuwa na sources of income ni nani?
7.
As many. 7.
Yes.
So issue is not 8.
7.
You're telling me I'm not reading the right.
Okay, maybe
Bible.
it's 8. Let me give it to you. I hate to 8. Let's
Okay,
go
maybe
with
it's
it.
7.
Let's go with it.
I think it's 7 or 8. In your 20s, because that it's a very prime time in your 20s. I am 25.
Ooh.
Yeah, I said I'm not going to hide because ati kusema ati don't ask a lady her age. Ask her. I beg. I'm proud of being 25. I told someone one day,
Yeah.
I'm so young. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just reaching out to the young people. And they were like, how old are you?
Are you?
Like, 25. You're old. They're like, young is 19. And what do you say? You're old. And I was just like,
The definition of youth differs from
it
constitution
does.
to constitution.
You know? Whether they say youth, being still 35, you're still a young
Yeah.
person. Maybe you become young at heart.
Yep.
Is there any like unexpected surprise or revelation that you've learned in your 20s that you're like, hey, hii ilinishika by surprise na sikuwa najua? Yeah.
I think it's just the intensity of grief.
Ooh, let's go there.
No, let's not.
Let's slightly go there because
It's just
it's not a normal topic for us or
Yeah.
people to talk about, but I think it's very important to just slightly get into it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
when you're young, you don't know. You almost like don't realize that people die.
Wow.
It's almost like death is such a far away concept, and especially when you don't lose people who are close to you, it's very foreign. And then you lose someone who's close to you, and it's just like yo. And then you see people continuing to breathe and continuing to eat and continuing to live. It's just the level of adulting it takes for you to go through grief and come out to the other side. It's just crazy. Like the hardest lesson I've had to learn in my 20s is about grief and just how to carry yourself in that space. Because yo,
Yeah, I can really see the tears coming.
wait, what tears?
Those tears
See, you're hunting.
are real. I'm not hunting. I actually agree with you when it comes to like grief. Grief is it's crazy, especially going through like as you're saying personal grief, like contact of family, people who are close, and that looks like your mom, your dad, your sister's kids, your brother's kids, your own kids, and yeah, man, you've Queen Konged through that one.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as you go into your 30s, do you ever feel like, okay, now I'll understand grief? Is there anything even like when I get to this age, then I'll understand grief?
Like I think the most interesting lesson about grief is actually biblical, that grief is not natural. Like when God created us, he didn't have the space for grief. Like we were not created to die. And like that understanding made me understand why it's very painful, and you can never ever be bigger than grief. It will just hit you regardless of how old you are, regardless of how well you think you can handle it. Grief is grief.
Yeah.